Good morning, students. We have a new chapter today, chapter 3, water. Let us first see about some basic things about water. Its chemical formula is, or molecular formula is H2O, and its chemical name dihydrogen oxide. Dihydrogen oxide. Its molecular mass can be 2 into 1 plus 1 into 16, because atomic mass is 1 and atomic mass of hydrogen is 16, so it will be 18 is the molecular mass. Now when you see the structure of water, you will find oxygen and hydrogen are bonded with a covalent bond, and you know very well this covalent bond is formed due to sharing of the electrons. This is how the bond is held. This is the structure of water. These two bonds are covalent bond. You can see the electron dot structure also to find out how this bond came. We have oxygen having 6 electrons with hydrogen on the two sides of oxygen atom having 1 electron. Now you know that in order to become stable, these atoms will have to complete octet or duplet. Hydrogen becomes stable by completing its octet, so it will take 1 electron from oxygen atom. Oxygen on the other hand also needs 2 more electrons to become stable to complete its octet, so it will take from these two hydrogen atoms. So these pair of electrons are the bond pair of electrons which are responsible for the covalent bond here. You can see. Now water is an essential compound and is important for all living organisms. Not only we need water for the drinking purposes, water can widely be used in industries also, because we see various products being manufactured in the industries or in factories where water plays a very important role. When we talk about the existence of water, around 70% of water is present on the earth, and you know that 3/4 of our earth is covered with water. But this water cannot be taken as a pure water because it is not potable and is not drinkable. So only 2.5% of water is a drinkable water. Other forms of water can be in the form of ice, glaciers, which we cannot obtain it directly. That's why this is become very necessary to save and conserve water. Now water has got a unique property that it has the ability to dissolve wide range of compounds in it, wide range of substances in it, and so water is called a universal solvent. Now based upon the impurities present in water, in order to get pure form of water, we have to remove all these impurities. We have the impurities like suspended impurities, dissolved impurities, and bacterial impurities. And all these form of water, due to the presence of these impurities, make water undrinkable. So we have to remove all these impurities. So far suspended impurities are concerned, they can be removed by filtration process. Then we have the dissolved impurities that can be removed by distillation process. Now, so for bacterial impurity is concerned, they can be removed or they can be killed by adding bleaching powder or by passing chlorine gas to it. Only after the removal of all these three types of impurities we can say that water has become pure. But you know that even distilled water, which is also called the purest form of water, cannot be used for drinking purposes because the important elements and the salts are not there in that water. So salts are necessary to be present in water to make water fit for drinking. Coming to some properties of water. Properties of water, you know, water is tasteless, colorless and odorless. I am talking about pure water. Pure water is always tasteless, colorless and odorless. Coming to the boiling point, water or pure water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. And the boiling point of this water depends on the pressure or the atmospheric pressure. When the pressure is 1 atmosphere, only then pure water can boil at 100 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, if the pressure changes, there will be change in the boiling point also. For example, when the pressure is increased, boiling point also increases, and when pressure decreases, boiling point will also decrease. Now, what makes the pressure so important to decide at what temperature water will boil or not? It is because that atmospheric pressure can make the vapor pressure equal to the surrounding pressure. If vapor pressure becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure, only that will be the stage of the boiling of water, which in the case of pure water at 1 atmospheric pressure, it will be 100 degrees Celsius, where the vapor pressure of water will become equal to the atmospheric pressure. And so we find boiling point of pure water is 100 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, as I said, on changing the pressure, there can be change in the boiling point also. Then another factor that will affect the boiling point will be impurity. With increase in the impurity, boiling point will also increase. You can check water. Take pure water, you will find it boiling at 100 degrees Celsius. But add few pinches of salt to water and then boil it, you will find it's not boiling anymore. At 100 degrees Celsius, its boiling point has become low. So impurity can also increase the boiling point. We have one more property called freezing point, and water freezes. Pure water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. You know, freezing is a process in which liquid freezes or solidifies to give solid at a fixed temperature. So boiling freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius at 1 atmospheric pressure. Now here, on increasing the pressure, freezing point will decrease. Similarly, impurity, when you add more impurity to water, that will also decrease the freezing point. So this way, this much we have for today's class. We have some more properties to discuss that we will see in the next class. Thank you.